I'm Sarah Turner. I'm a freelance medical copywriter, and I just want to simplify copywriting for you today. Sometimes when we're starting out in a new career or a new path for ourselves, especially when it's a little bit outside of like a traditional path and you're kind of finding your own way, it's really easy for us to overcomplicate things. So I want to just take the time to really simplify this for you and tell you a little bit of what this should look like or has looked like for me and many others. But obviously there will be some of your own deviations based on who you want to write for, what types of copy you want to write. But basically this is the simplified version of it all. So first, what is copywriting? I get asked that a lot. It is basically writing with persuasion. So writing with the intent to get people to act. Usually or often it's to make a sale. But today, in today's world, copywriting's come to mean a little bit more, I think, to do it well, because people more and more want to buy from businesses and individuals that are more moral and ethical and in alignment with their values. So copywriting includes oftentimes more than just making a sale. More direct response copywriting, which would be the term for when you add like the types of copy where you want people to buy now. So maybe that is a Facebook ad or a landing page. Sometimes it's an email. But other forms of copy can include, softer pitches. That might be blogs. Website copy could be direct response copy, written more like a landing page. It could be a little softer, trying to get people to sign up for a consultation as opposed to making the sale right away. But overall, people just kind of expect more from businesses than they really ever have before. And personally, I like that because it means we need to be putting out more helpful content, building a long-term relationship. And really, I only work with businesses or individuals who have a long-term strategy. So I'm not going to work for anyone who really just wants to, make a quick buck and they don't want to be in business for a really long time. So that doesn't mean that we don't have copy where we are, pushing a sale. That absolutely happens. But really, I like to work with people who have more of a long-term vision for their business. And that's probably because I think marketing a lot of times gets a bad rap. I know I used to not think highly of marketing. But the thing is any successful business needs good marketing. It's just a fact, because you could have the most amazing product in the world, and if nobody knows about it, you're doomed. So there are incredible companies out there that need good marketing. And so you can kind of tailor your copywriting and who you go after, your ideal clients, as I like to call them, to kind of match your values as well. And that just makes your work super rewarding. So another thing I want to point out is it's really a good way to think about copywriting is you want to make your audience feel really understood and like what they're going through. You are speaking their lingo, and that is how they're going to come to trust you and want to actually make a purchase from you. Whereas, writing people who write novels and books and things like that, they're usually trying to make other people understand them. And copywriting is so much more about making sure your audience feels like you get them. Like you really want to make them feel like, dang, this girl gets me. So that is something to keep in mind in the back of your mind when you're thinking about all the copy that you write. You really, really want them to feel understood. And then I really love copywriting. Again, just want to touch on some of the basics of copywriting for you because it is really essentially a skill of more effective communication that gets people to do things, that gets people, behind your cause. And copywriting is constantly claimed to be one of the most crucial elements in any successful business and any successful marketing campaign. And so copywriting is a needed skill and trade by all businesses, and it's never going away. It is definitely a career with job security. So copywriting is always going to be around. So now that you got that in your mind, how do you get started copywriting? And it's really interesting because a lot of old time copywriters or people who have been around a long time, I think they tend to forget that they got started once themselves too. So don't beat yourself up and don't get discouraged by some of, the more aggressive copywriter voices out there that are making it sound like it's just like a bloodbath and things like that. Everyone has to start somewhere, and a lot of copywriters started out being self-taught and then moved on to mentorships. So the first thing you got to do is you got to practice and you got to study. Hand copying copy is something that you will learn a lot from, especially if you're asking yourself the right questions as you study that copy. What are they trying to do? What emotions are they trying to evoke? What are they repeating? What are they highlighting? What images are they painting? Are they being really detailed? Are they being really specific? Are they handling objections? What is the cadence and flow? Getting your cadence and flow down is like such an important skill of copywriting, and it's really hard, especially when you're starting out, to kind of understand, because you want it to sound like somebody is talking to you. You want it to sound like, how you would talk to your sister or your brother, your best friend. And so that is a really essential skill to be practicing. And the best way to do that is to actually start writing. So study, practice by, hand copying some other people's work. Like I said, you can use swipe.co, read some books. 2 books I'm going to just go ahead and recommend is Breakthrough Copywriting and then Everybody Writes. Those are both great books to just get started thinking about copywriting, thinking about good writing. And keep in mind that you can gain insight into copywriting from sources that are not about copywriting, like screenplay, books and suggestions are, tend to be really great also for copywriters. So there's a book I often recommend called Pitch Anything. It's about pitching yourself, but you can learn so much and gain so much insight from that book, and how it applies to copywriting, because really it's just like effective communication between you and another person. So the other thing is then to really get better, you just gotta write. You gotta write and you gotta do it all the time. You gotta practice and really truly start writing before you feel ready. Don't get stuck in overconsumption mode. I promise it is a skill just like any other that you will gain the most insight and become better faster if you just do it. And here's the other thing, you really want to write for other people, because if you are writing just for yourself and posting personal blogs, you're not going to gain the feedback, the critical feedback that you need from working with somebody else. One of my favorite ways for people to get started is to write for people you know. We all have friends and family who own businesses. Reach out, say you want to write their website, say you want to write a Facebook ad for them, get a testimonial from them, get a portfolio piece from them, but just start writing. I promise that's going to be your best move for becoming better more quickly. The next thing is you got to create a portfolio and a website. We are living in the digital age, and if you don't have a website and you don't have a portfolio, how do people know to trust you? So be sure to start building that. Remember, it is not stagnant. It's not something you create and leave. It's something that you're constantly improving. So as you get stronger testimonials, as you get stronger portfolio pieces, you can always be revamping your website to make it a stronger, better representation of your work. And then I really want to encourage you to reach out to clients via cold email and or LinkedIn. These are great techniques for reaching people who aren't hanging out on Upwork looking for the cheapest writer they can find. So think about the people you really want to work with. Who are the businesses you love? We all have them. And those are the people that you kind of want to be starting to march towards as you practice, right? And then be helpful in Facebook groups where you have ideal clients hanging out. That is such a great technique for building a reputation relatively quickly and offering support and help. Don't pitch your services, just be a really helpful voice in a certain, in that group, and you will be so surprised at how people will start to reach out to you for your services. And then the thing is like keep building. It's literally one step in front of the other. And you can, you can get paid while you're gaining experience, which is the amazing thing. And then you get to raise your rates when you feel like you've gotten better. When you start to get a bunch of clients in at the rate that you're charging and you've got experience under your belt and you're feeling more confident in your ability to deliver consistently, and yeah, that is when you raise your rates. So it's really just like it's like a march forward. Every time you get a few projects at a certain rate, you crush it, raise your rates again, and then you want to just get to a place where you are charging what is fair. And I can guarantee you that what you think is fair, it's probably a little higher, if not a lot higher than what you think is fair, especially starting out, which is why it's also so important to get those initial clients, because those are the people that are going to help build up your self-esteem and your confidence, and they're going to make that imposter syndrome voice a lot quieter. So that's it. That's really all it is. It's practice. It's putting yourself out there. It's reaching out. It's asking for help. It's studying. And you get paid to learn. That is what when people ask me, like, what is copywriting? What does your day-to-day look like? You know, people who are not in marketing or even interested in it, I'm like, I basically get paid to learn. That's how I describe it. And it's like a dream come true for me. So anyway, keep it simple. Focus on the next right thing. That is like one of my favorite questions, especially when I'm getting overwhelmed about everything I want to do. I will just say, okay, what is the next right step? And that will just ease a lot of anxiety. So I hope this helps. Go ahead, leave me comments. I love to hear from you. What helps you? Were you overthinking this a little bit? Were you making it more complicated than it needs to be? I've been there before. I totally get it. And of course, hit the thumbs up if you liked it. That tells me that you want to see more stuff like this. And always remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.